I first want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. I've lived in Cecil County for 20 years after leaving overtaxed and overbuilt Delaware County, Pennsylvania. I have a bachelor's in engineering from Penn State, worked in the defense industry, and for the past 22 years, I've been managing my own marketing consulting firm. I've also been president of the Maryland Division of USA Fencing, and I work with local, state, and national organizations to help promote the sport of fencing in the state. I'm running for council since I'm concerned that we are running the risk of going the way of Delco. I've seen how tax and spend policies can hurt a community, and government should be run like a business, carefully managing resources for the highest and best use. I support cutting taxes and keeping them low and cutting waste. I support common sense economic growth and job growth that enhances the quality of life here and not cause sprawl in our agricultural community. And I support public safety because since no amount of economic growth can prosper in a county where people are not safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gatchell. Ms. Miller.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Al Miller, and I've been a county councilman representing District 3 over the last 4 years. In my combined 66 years on the county, Cecil County Fair Board, Cecil County and Maryland Farm Bureau boards, I've worked locally, regionally, and statewide to promote the growth of our agriculture community and bring our county resources and opportunities for a greater agricultural development. In my time as president of the Chamber of Commerce and as a member of this County Economic Development Commission, I advocated for major policy changes that created a better commercial environment where businesses, both big and small, could thrive. In my 20 years of County Board of Elections, I worked for better civic engagement in our county. In my years on church boards and coaching youth basketball, I worked to better develop our community and our next generation of Cecil County citizens. My commitment, lifetime commitment to Cecil County. Thank you.
Mr. Gatchell, charter government for Cecil County was adopted by Cecil County citizens in 2010, and we elected the first county executive and council 10 years ago in 2012. What do you like best about charter government, and do you have any recommendations for improvement?
I remember charter starting very well. I think charter government is the way to go. And there's a phrase I'm going to kind of borrow from it. Government that governs closest governs best. The fact that we here in the county govern ourselves is fantastic because we as councilmen and the county executive, we all interface with people in the community. It's community-based governance, and it's really a great idea because we get a chance to hear from the constituents, and we get a chance to explain things to them as well. I do like the checks and balances of it. Everything needs a check and a balance. But I do feel that as we grow, as the community grows and the county grows, we may need to look at different changes or enhancements to it. But I think that the charter government is spot on, the way to go, and I only think it can get better. So thank you.
What I like best about charter government is its efficiencies. Since we got going to the charter government form of government, we have flourished as a county. We've brought more businesses in. We've expanded the Route 40 I-95 corridor. We got economic development growing like crazy. We're doing the right things. We need to continue to be efficient and work together as a team to make it all come together. What I'd like to improve on it, communication. We need to continue to communicate, not only with the council and the administration. We need to listen to all our citizens. We're here to serve the citizens of Cecil County. And I'll always remember that, and I'll always do that. Thank you.
Mr. Miller, you're running for a position as Cecil County Council. You are one of 5 and have no individual authority to act or speak for council unless granted by the majority of the members. How will you ensure the other members that you will work in a collaborative manner and be constructive and respectful while presenting and listening to all views?
Maybe I answered that a little bit on the last question, but as you will notice in every county meeting, I am writing down, even every public meeting, I write down your name and what you say and what you do. I think you need to continue to work together as a team. I think you have to be respectful to everyone, and that includes the citizens and people that you don't necessarily agree with. I think we have to continue to work to agree to disagree and move on. Don't take it personally. Sometimes we just don't all think alike, and that's okay. I think we continue to work together, and things will work out just fine. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question. I do think that respect has to go both ways. I feel that we as council members, we have different lives, we have different opinions, but the one thing we have in common is that we're working for the people. And we need to put our egos and our self-interests aside and really focus upon what the real situations are and the decisions we're asked to make. One thing we have to do is always work as a team. That goes without saying. But we need to be honest with ourselves about making sure that what we bring to the council table, we need to take basically ourselves out of it and be the servants of our constituents, to listen to them, what they want, and what we can tell them as well. So if we have a team that does that, it will be a very efficient team. Yes, we can have different ideas, absolutely. That's what makes things great. But we have to remember who we work for, and we have to respect them. Thank you.
Mr. Gatchell, there have been over 200 mass shootings reported in the United States so far in 2022. Recently, the killing of 19 children at Robb Elementary School in Texas has created even more anxiety and fear. What can the council do to address public safety in Cecil County?
Well, the first thing I stand for is, first of all, I am a very strong proponent of the Second Amendment. I don't like to see legal people who are legally allowed to possess weapons have them in jeopardy. But I also do realize that we need to, particularly in this instance with the schools, we need to protect our schools. We do need to have situations where we have limited access. We need to protect them to begin with. But also, as I've heard other candidates say, we also need to look at the consequences. We need to look at the punishments and the ramifications for people who do illegal things with guns before they become a mass shooting. So, particularly in the school areas, we must protect our schools, but that does not mean we take the guns away from legal gun owners in this country. And that's fine, thank you.
First of all, the number one reason for government is public safety. Don't ever forget it. We need to fund our sheriff's department, and we need to fund them well. We need to have a service deputy in every school in this county to help protect not only the students, but also the teachers. We also need to continue to fund the school system so that they can continue to grow and have better security entrances. Now, the security entrances is not something you just all of a sudden just put up right away. It takes time. We've got some on the books. We need to get them done as soon as possible and continue to move forward so that we get the school safe and a safe place to be. Thank you.
Mr. Miller, preserving a proper balance between economic development and the county's rural legacy is what makes Cecil County a desirable place to live, work, and visit. Do you agree with the current Cecil County Comprehensive Plan? What are its strengths? Would you recommend any changes?
I totally agree with the comprehensive plan in Cecil County, and I followed it to the tilt ever since I started in 4 years ago. We've got a rural area, and that rural area is to preserve the heritage of agriculture in Cecil County. The agriculture businesses are doing well. I was on the board 25 years ago that started that whole study of trying to bring more people into Cecil County. And one of those issues that we brought up was bringing the Amish community in. And they're doing a good job, and we're actually growing in agriculture in the county. The other thing we're doing is the economic development. We're putting a growth corridor down the Route 49-95 corridor, which is a must to keep the pressure off the agriculture land. We're doing a good job. We need to continue to do a good job and get the business communities coming and keep them, because that's what keeps your taxes down. Thank you.
Well, having seen going from home rule to charter, I do think the comprehensive plan has been well thought out. I do think that having the growth corridor established is a great idea. I do believe, and that's why I came here, is for the agricultural aspect of this. I come from a farming family in Delaware, if there's any farms left in Delaware. And that is one of my concerns here. I think that we have a balance, but I think lately the finger seems to be getting put on the scale when it comes to the development. I am seeing certain things, I know we all are, where we're going to crowd certain development zones with one particular type of industry, logistics centers, warehouses, or whatever, and we're not considering the impact of that as far as traffic and other manifestations of people trying to get through the county and the agricultural areas. So I think it needs to be reassessed and re-looked at as far as balancing our growth with a diversity of jobs and opportunities in the growth corridor areas so that we can indeed protect the agricultural areas.
The preamble to the Declaration of Independence includes the statement, all men are created equal. Easy to understand yet difficult to achieve. The public schools, community college, and public library institutions are designed to ensure all have access to assist in their growth, development, and workforce preparedness. As a council member, what will you do to ensure that these three public Cecil County institutions have the necessary local fiscal support to fulfill their stated missions?
Thank you for the question. I call it the three-legged stool of education. Cecil County Public Schools, Cecil County Public Library, and Cecil College. All three of my children went to Cecil County Public Schools. My daughter went to Cecil College, and I'm proud of the Cecil County Library enough to their efforts to help with development of job creation during the COVID. They won an award at the Maryland Association of Fairs this past winter meetings that I was a sponsor of. We need to continue to support these organizations. The Cecil County Public Library is a great place for these kids to get an education. You've got access to the internet. And Cecil College is a great place for the kids to get an education, and they do a good job and they continue on in the years to come. And hopefully they come back to Cecil County and work. Thank you.
Well, as part of my business, I have a wonderful opportunity of traveling around the country and see a lot of families and children in different school districts. And I have to say that I am very, very proud of the equal access and the resources that all of our students have. That is, to me, second to none. I firmly believe that. And I do believe that they need to be funded adequately. And I say adequately. We talk about tax cuts and waste. We have to look at how we allocate the resources that are being sent to these three divisions that we talk about. We have to be sure that the funding and the resources are there to educate the children and the young people of this county and not wasted on other frivolous things that might look good and make us feel good. But when the rubber meets the road, I feel that we are in a great spot. I feel that we're funding well, but we need to be very careful, sharpen the pencils, and be assured that we are funding the proper things that really contribute to education. Thank you.
Mr. Gatchell, each year the county government's budget process refers to the maintenance of effort in relation to funding proposed for Cecil County Public Schools. What is maintenance of effort? How does the state and county arrive at the amount of maintenance of effort?
Well, one thing about going to school is doing research. I think we've heard this, what is maintenance of effort, through the entire evening. We know what it is. We know it's the minimum amount required in order to really give it to the school systems. But I'm going to go back to what I was saying even to the previous question. We know what the maintenance of efforts requirements are. We know where the money comes from, and we know what it's being allocated for. But once again, I feel that many times we have a lot of projects, we just throw more money at it, or just keep throwing money at it. We need to look carefully at the wants and needs that are being used in the education system. My sister is an educator in another district in another state, and I live this. I hear about it regularly, about the resources that teachers and students don't have, yet millions upon millions of dollars are being thrown into a system, but it's not making it to the students. So my philosophy on council will be to look very closely and very carefully at how the funding will be allocated and to ensure, once again, that it meets the needs of educating the children and not for window dressing that make us feel good. Thank you.
First of all, the maintenance of effort is the difference between the numbers of students that are enrolled in the school and the amount of earned income by the county. Unfortunately, in Cecil County, our maintenance effort, our numbers in the Cecil County Public Schools are down and our income level is up, which creates more of a problem. We need to continue to maintain and more than maintain, because it's bare bones. We can no longer survive on just bare bones fiscal to the school system. Let me make it real clear. We have the money, it goes to the Board of Education. The Board of Education does the spending and knows how to spend the money. But we were spending between $1 and $2.5 million over maintenance effort during the last administration. We need to get back to getting more money to the school system. They'll do the right thing. I know they will. Thank you. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for a great event tonight. I thank every citizen for being here. I want to thank my wife Karen and Team Miller for all their work and all the help they do for me. I was born and raised in Cecil County. I inherited a great community and a beautiful place to call home. I want to leave behind even a better community, even better for our next generation. Thank you so much for showing up, and God bless Cecil County.
Thank you, Councilman Miller. Mr. Gatchell.
Yes, as your member of council, I commit to be your voice. I also commit to listen and communicate with you to talk about the issues that concern all the citizens of this great county. In my business, I ask the hard questions, do my own research and get all the data before I make any decisions, period. I'll crunch those numbers and do the research here as a member of your council. It's my job to work for you to answer only to the citizens of this county, not to any specific administration, not to lobbyists, not to PACs, and definitely not to any well-moneyed and well-connected special interests in this county. Thank you.
I appreciate you staying for a very long evening, and the important thing to remember is that a lot of people answered the same question, but it was the people who are running against each other that makes the difference on what the answer was. But it's only part of the information you need to research regarding your July 19th vote, early voting the week before. I'm very concerned, this is just me personally, that people do not know that there was a primary July 19th. We've never had a primary in the middle of summer. And one of the things that I ask you is make sure that your neighbors, your relatives, all your friends know July 19th is a primary, and it's critically important for local representation. Who's going to take us, over the next 4 years? And with that, I appreciate you being here this evening, and Godspeed.